Imagine waking up one morning thinking everything is just as it should be, until the world begins to crumble around you. The perfect memory of a scene you've watched 100 times vanishes. The childhood book you swear you read never existed. Your deepest, most vivid memories. They start to flicker like the image on an old faulty TV screen. Then someone tells you it never happened, that it was never real. But you know it was. You were there. You felt it. You even have the scars from it. But here's the question. What if reality itself is glitching? What if you're the only one who remembers, and the rest of the world is just wrong? Welcome to the Mandela Effect. It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction thriller, but it's real. It's happening right now. And it's more widespread than you'd think. The Mandela Effect is a phenomenon where millions of people remember events, details, or facts that never actually happened. People are convinced that something was a certain way, only to discover in the harshest of ways that it never was. Not once. Never. You think you've got it all figured out, only to realize that the world is playing a sick trick on you. Have you ever thought you remembered a movie line one way, only to find out you were completely wrong? Or perhaps you recall Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s, but in reality he lived until 2013. How is that possible? Could our memories be so easily manipulated? Or could there be something darker at play? Something far more unsettling? It all began with Nelson Mandela. In 2009, paranormal researcher Fiona Broom was stunned to find that many people around the world shared an eerie, specific memory. Nelson Mandela had died in prison during the 1980s, but Mandela was alive and well. He went on to become the first black president of South Africa, lived another 20 years, and passed away in 2013. So why then do so many people vividly remember his funeral? What is this distortion in our collective memory? Some researchers suggest the Mandela Effect might be tied to what's called a false memory contagion, an event that spreads among people and distorts their recollections, all because one person's mistake influences many others. But what if it goes deeper than that? What if there's more to this collective false memory than meets the eye? What happens when reality itself is the one that's wrong? When it's not just your mind playing tricks on you, but the world itself? The Mandela Effect is part of a growing theory that reality may not be as solid as we think. Imagine a multiverse where countless parallel universes exist side by side. The many worlds theory in quantum mechanics suggests that every possible outcome of every decision spawns an entirely new universe. What if the Mandela Effect is the crossover of these universes, where fragments of different realities collide? Suddenly those childhood memories you're so sure of, they never existed in this timeline. That moment where your favorite actor was in a movie but no one else remembers it? Perhaps it happened in a parallel universe where everything was just slightly different. What if you've crossed into a different timeline without even knowing it? What if the version of reality you've known your entire life has shifted, and you're the only one who remembers it? It's not just Mandela. The Mandela Effect is infectious, spreading across the world, affecting millions of people. Take the example of the Berenstain Bears. You're probably familiar with the name, right? You bet anything it was always spelled Berenstain with an E, but no, it's Berenstain with an A. This simple but eerie shift has stumped thousands of people, but how can so many people share the same false memory? And it's not just one person getting it wrong, it's whole communities, multiple generations who remember the same false detail. A woman named Lydia was haunted by the memory of a book she used to read over and over during her childhood. The book was called The Glass Meadow, a mysterious tale of a magical world. She could even remember the cover with an image of a glowing forest and a girl holding a lantern. As she grew older, Lydia tried to find the book again. She searched every bookstore, every online marketplace. Nothing. It was as if the book had vanished into thin air. She couldn't believe it. She even reached out to her old library only to be told they had no record of such a book. Her childhood friends also shared memories of it, yet none of them could find any trace of the book either. Lydia's memory of the Glass Meadow was vivid, so vivid that she began questioning everything. Was the book real, or had it been erased from existence, leaving only the memory? Her search continues, but the book is still nowhere to be found, and she's left wondering if something about her reality had subtly shifted. A woman swears she and her childhood friends watched a 90s movie called Shazam, starring the comedian Sinbad as a goofy genie. She vividly remembers entire scenes, Sinbad emerging from a lamp, helping kids reunite with their father, and even misfiring a spell that turned a room upside down. But there's one problem. That movie never existed. There's no official record of it, no trailers, no VHS covers, no behind-the-scenes footage. It's as if the entire film was wiped clean from existence, and yet she's not alone. Thousands online share the same exact memory. How can so many people remember a movie that never existed? Some people who have experienced this shift describe the feeling as if they've slipped into another world. A Reddit user named BerensteinX shared a chilling experience where they visited their childhood home, only to find the bookshelf was filled with books they didn't remember, books they knew were part of their past, but had disappeared when they returned to the house later. Another user, sharing their unsettling experience, remembered owning a beloved book from their childhood, one that no longer existed. They could still picture the cover, the pages, the smell of the paper, but no one else remembered it, not even their family. This collective distortion hints at something more than just faulty recollections. Could there be a social contagion at play here? Something far more sinister than mere misinformation? What if this phenomenon is revealing a deeper, darker layer of human consciousness? One where reality itself can be bent and twisted by the sheer will of belief? Here's where things get truly disturbing. What if reality isn't fixed? What if we're all part of an experiment where the world around us is constantly changing, and we have no idea that it's happening? You might think your memories are yours, a personal archive of your past, but what if those memories are not yours at all? What if they've been implanted or erased entirely, and the people around you are merely actors in a carefully crafted illusion? One woman, known only as Laura, described an eerie encounter in her local grocery store. She walked into an aisle and instantly felt something was wrong. The faces of the other shoppers seemed unfamiliar, but they all greeted her as if they knew her. When she returned the next day, those same people acted as though they had never met her. The store itself even seemed subtly different. Lara couldn't shake the feeling that she had stepped into a different world entirely, a world where her memories of this grocery store were not real. Even the smallest detail, an offhand remark or a moment you barely even remember, could be reprogrammed to fit the reality that's being controlled. And when you realize it, when you finally wake up and notice that things don't add up, it's already too late. You're trapped inside this ever-changing maze of shifting timelines. In today's digital world, the Mandela Effect has become more contagious than ever. Think about it. How many times have you seen a meme, a video, or a viral quote that seems wrong, but everyone else is suddenly agreeing with it? Social media spreads these false memories like wildfire. False information doesn't just spread, it mutates. And the more it mutates, the more real it feels. This can create a feedback loop, where the more people believe something is true, the more solid it becomes in our collective reality. In fact, one of the most unsettling aspects of this phenomenon is how mass media has become a tool for creating a new reality. News outlets, viral trends, and even pop culture references can influence the way we perceive and remember the past. If enough people remember something in a certain way, does that make it true? Or does it simply mean that our memories are no longer our own? This is the part that really chills you to the bone. When we remember something with absolute certainty, yet we find that it never existed, we're left with the creeping horror of uncertainty. If our memories can be so easily twisted, manipulated, or erased, what does that say about our perception of reality? It raises a terrifying question. If our minds can be deceived by something as simple as a logo change, a vanished book, or an event that never occurred, can we trust anything we remember? How do we know we're not just living in a dream, a world where everything around us is constantly shifting, and the only thing that remains constant is the feeling that something's terribly off? When the very fabric of our memories is in question, the idea of reality itself becomes malleable, uncertain. So after everything we've explored, you might still be wondering, well, what is the Mandela Effect really all about? Is it just a weird glitch in our minds? A simple mistake in remembering? Or is it something darker? Something that points to the very nature of reality itself? The Mandela Effect doesn't just make us question what we remember, it forces us to ask deeper questions about the world we live in. Are we simply victims of our own memories? Or are we living in a world that's being manipulated, controlled, or altered by forces we can't comprehend? As unsettling as it is, the Mandela Effect doesn't just make us question our memories. It makes us question everything we think we know about reality. If the world around us can be altered, even in the smallest, most subtle ways, how can we ever be sure of anything again? So, what do you think? Have you experienced the Mandela Effect yourself? Can you recall any strange instances where your memories didn't quite match up with the world around you? Drop a comment below and share your most mind-bending Mandela Effect experiences. Who knows? Maybe your story will be the next piece of the puzzle. If you enjoyed this dive into the strange world of the Mandela Effect, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell, so you never miss another mind-bending video. And if you're still wondering about what's real and what isn't, check out these other videos where we dive deep into even more reality-bending mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning everything, because you never know what might be real, or what's been erased.